Just imagine Fortnite, but they switch out the weapons against the weapons from Unreal Tournament. Now that would be interesting. Will they do it? Most likely not. Most likely not. Because they are, I can guarantee you they wouldn't even think about that. But it would be cool. Because I think the weapons are way more interesting.
When I started this channel, the biggest and most exciting aspect of it was being able to relive my youth. I wanted to showcase some of the most amazing games of the last 20 to 30 years, and I wanted to share this journey with you guys, and hopefully help you to fill your head with some gaming memories of your own. I was excited to replay some of my old favourites, some of the games that still stand up today, and ones that arguably have never been surpassed in the gaming world. Every now and then I get a little warm fuzzy feeling about a certain game or a certain memory, and today is one of those days. Esteemed viewer, I give you, simply put, one of the greatest FPS games ever made.
Would I agree with that? Yes. Yes, the game is that good. And also, when he was talking about, remembering old games, getting a fuzzy feeling, that was Half-Life 1 for me. And then I played it. And then I went to Zen. Oh my god, I hate Zen. I hate this so much. Oh my god. And the boss fight at the end is so retarded. But we had Unreal Tournament, where we don't have stupid boss fights. You only have bots and other people.
Unreal Tournament was released in November of 1999 by Epic Games and Digital Extremes. It stands as one of the most influential and defining first-person shooters of its era. It was more than just a game. It was a technological marvel, a cultural milestone, and a cornerstone in the evolution of multiplayer gaming. Its legacy persists to this day, not because of the nostalgia it evokes whenever I play it and hear that music and intro movie, but because of the groundbreaking innovations it produced in gameplay, graphics, and in particular, AI. At the close of the 1990s, the gaming world was undergoing a...
Yeah, the bots in that game, they were really, really, really good. There was basically almost no difference between playing against bots and against people. Because they were so good. I never went above the middle difficulty with the bots. Because they were too hard. Oh, well, maybe I was just too bad. That's actually more likely.
Seismic shift. Multiplayer gaming was beginning to mature, internet connectivity was becoming more widespread, and gamers were craving more competitive and connected experiences.
I miss how the lights back in the day had those, oh, how are they even called? I don't remember. Those lens flare effects. All of them had them. All Unreal Engine games. In Half-Life 2 they didn't, right? Yeah, they didn't. But this actually looked unique. Yeah, it was a unique feature for the Unreal Engine. If it only was an Unreal Engine. Because to be fair, I don't really remember. I mean, it's 30 years ago, almost. Well, the brain gets a little fuzzy remembering things that are that long ago. But this is adding to the style of how the game looks. And I think it looks cool. But yeah, what do I know? I'm old, right?
Now, for clarity, Unreal Tournament wasn't the first to explore competitive multiplayer.
Yeah.
Quake 3 Arena that released the same year shared that mantle, but in
Yep. And I played that too. And I loved it too. I think I even liked it more. But that might be due to the, art style. And of course, it also had hot characters. Yeah, this barely wearing anything female models. Yeah. And of course, the weapons are cool. I think the sound in Quake 3 for the weapons is actually better. But that's actually a question of taste, because I like the whoops behind the weapon better.
In my opinion, Unreal Tournament distinguished itself through its flexibility, its attention to offline play with bots, and its modular design that catered to both casual and hardcore players. The game was built on the powerful Unreal Engine, which at the time was a cutting-edge piece of technology that allowed for highly detailed textures, dynamic lighting, and expansive level design. This engine, which of course has been refined and has been used a ton in other titles to this very day, was central to the visual spectacle that Unreal Tournament offered. Environments were richly varied, ranging from gothic cathedrals and sci-fi installations to eerie alien worlds, all rendered with a sharpness and fluidity that set a new standard for the genre.
Yep. And if you do that today in a multiplayer shooter, you don't have all these different styles, all these different areas. You would be called out to oh, it's inconsistent. But back in the day, if it looks cool and it is fun, do it. Just do it. And it was cool. It was great. The game didn't want it to be, oh my god, this is this serious universe, a serious game, and you are in it, and blah, blah, blah. No, this is just, here, have fun. Shoot weapon at enemy. Enjoy. And it's great. It's lovely.
The design of the maps was particularly amazing. There are so many amazing and memorable maps in this game.
16.
Levels like Facing Worlds with its twin sniper towers and sprawling open battlefield in the middle became iconic, not only for their visual aesthetics but for the deep emergent gameplay that they encouraged. The skybox of Facing Worlds with its revolving planets and cosmic backdrop contributed to the sense of grandeur and isolation, elevating the intensity of the capture the flag mode that resided within it. Other maps, such as Deck 16, became benchmarks of arena design. The tight corridors, verticality and strategic item placement turned this map into a favourite for duels and deathmatch sessions.
One of the best multiplayer maps ever created. Ever. It's that good. It's so awesome. Man, I miss those games. That just were fun. And the thing is, there was nothing to unlock. No new weapons, no weapon attachments, nothing. It was just have fun. And these days, in multiplayer games, you don't have that. The fun is unlocking the things, not playing the game. Am I the only one that is thinking like that? People don't play modern games anymore because they're fun. It's because there's other stuff to do that are fun, maybe. But is it though? Because I played this game alone against bots. I had a lot of fun. There was nothing to unlock, nothing like that. And I still played it. Why? Because it was fun. Why don't I play Call of Duty? Because it's not fun. It doesn't look fun. It looks like having a brain aneurysm. Because it's so fast and so, oh my god, no. I don't even want to try. And it's not like I didn't play Call of Duty, but I never went into the multiplayer. And I played Call of Duty 1. By the way, that's my favorite Call of Duty. Call of Duty 1. That's it.
There were two other favourites of mine which I spent a huge amount of time on. The first was Lava Giant, a map consisting of 2 bases at the end of each map, with a large wall in the middle with half a dozen routes that could be used to get to either base. Playing Capture the Flag on this map with bots was a ton of fun, even better with mods. More on those later. The other was a map called Morpheus, a map set in space with 3 levitating towers in close proximity to each other. It was a perfect map for a last man standing or team deathmatch or even a solo deathmatch experience. Once again, it was made better with a few mods which helped kick the action up a notch. The best maps were not only beautifully rendered but also mechanical.
Yeah, which is also a thing. You had mods for maps. I don't remember them, but they were there. I think we could increase or lower gravity and things like that. But it's so long ago, I really don't remember.
Mechanically elegant, providing players with intuitive layouts that facilitated a wide range of playstyles. Capture the Flag maps, for example, often had your typical 3-lane approach when defending or attacking, but these lanes were all full of twists, turns, obstacles and environmental oddities so that no 2 maps ever felt the same. Map knowledge was quite key here as well, in particular knowing where the big power-ups were. Knowing when to grab the armor power-up or timing the appearance of the shield belt added another layer of tactical depth that could help turn the tide of a fight.
Yep. And I think that's actually good. But sadly, young people don't want to play games like these anymore. And there aren't a lot of old people around, like me, who... Well, there aren't enough old people like me around who would play games like these. But new games. So we just play the old games. What I would think could be interesting is, just imagine Fortnite. But they switch out the weapons against the weapons from Unreal Tournament. Now that would be interesting. Will they do it? Most likely not. Most likely not. Because I can guarantee you they wouldn't even think about that. But it would be cool. Because I think the weapons are way more interesting. Way, way more interesting in Unreal Tournament than, Fortnite. Because Fortnite is just, sniper rifle, it's, the usual.
Gameplay-wise, Unreal Tournament offered a buffet of modes that went far beyond the traditional deathmatch. Classic Deathmatch and Team Deathmatch were of course both here, and they were as fast and brutal as you would imagine them to be, rewarding twitch reflexes and map knowledge on often smaller and more intimate maps. Capture the Flag was strategic and team orientated, and maps designed for this mode such as Koret and Lava Giant became showcases of symmetry and flow. Domination, a mode that required teams to hold specific control points, introduced a different kind of rhythm and tactical consideration, like when to sit and defend an objective or when to try and push and get another. While Assault, which was perhaps the most ambitious, presented objective-based scenarios that unfolded like mini-campaigns. Assault...
I loved that. I really did. Oh my god, this was so fun.
Maps like Overlord, where attackers storm a beachhead and infiltrate a bunker, created scripted cinematic experiences in a multiplayer context. These scenarios often encouraged huge amounts of teamwork in a way that was relatively novel for the time. It is absolutely
which you don't have with bots, by the way, and those were my only allies. So I did all the work.
Mad to me that 26 years ago, Unreal Tournament was setting standards for FPS game modes that are largely still used today. Each of these modes came with its own map set, its own UI tweaks and mechanics, revealing the developer's commitment to variety and polish. There was also a healthy amount of customization available within the matches. What really set Unreal Tournament apart from many of its contemporaries was the inclusion of sophisticated AI bots. In an era where internet gaming wasn't really universally accessible, the bot support in Unreal Tournament was arguably revolutionary. These weren't the mindless drones of other games. They exhibited distinct personalities, tactics, and even team roles.
Actually, same goes for Quake 3. Now, I played the original Unreal, and they had bots too, which also were pretty good. And that was the first time I went, multiplayer and with bots. That was the first time I encountered that, and I thought that was standard for PC games. Imagine my surprise when I tried that in Half-Life 1 and there were no bots. Man, the disappointment was so huge. But yeah, it is what it is, right? But yeah, it was great. Great times. Great times.
On higher difficulties, they could challenge even the most skilled of players, making offline play genuinely engaging rather than a mere training ground. It was not uncommon for players to spend hundreds of hours battling bots across all varieties of modes, honing their skills and memorizing maps. This is perhaps the reason why I love this game so much. This was largely before I personally got into multiplayer gaming, so the offline functionality was a real game changer for me. I could play these games, have a ton of fun and scratch the FPS itch against challenging foes without needing to connect to the internet, which at the time I doubt I would have been able to anyway, even if I wanted to, due to home limitations. The bots were customizable and their personalities ranged from aggressive rushers to cautious snipers. To this day, I genuinely could reel off names of bots and tell you what type of players they were and how good or bad they were.
That's insane. But yeah, if you use them all the time, you know, yeah, you remember.
Some bots would be cannon fodder, whilst others, like my nemesis Loke, would be a real thorn in my side as his accuracy meant that missing shots could prove costly in a one-on-one engagement with him. This gave the offline experience an almost narrative feel, as if one were climbing the ranks of a fierce galactic combat league. Now to get into the really fun part of the game, where we talk about the weaponry in Unreal Tournament. It was another hallmark of its design brilliance. Weapons like
the weapons of Unreal Tournament are so cool. So cool. And they're mostly the same as in the original Unreal, which is a single player game, which I played and loved, still do. But this gun here, for example, was not an Unreal. Which, that thing is still good. It's still good. I think all the weapons in the game are good. Well, for the purpose.
flak cannon, the shock rifle, the
best weapon in the game. This thing is so... And also, I think the coolest weapon in the game. It's so amazing. Oh my god, I love this thing.
rocket launcher or the Redeemer. They weren't just tools of destruction, they were extensions of the player's identity. Each weapon had a primary and secondary fire mode, which often had wildly different scenarios in which they were useful. Some, though, could be combined. The shock rifle in particular became the stuff of legend due to its combo mechanic, where players could shoot a slow-moving energy ball with an alternate fire and then detonate it with the primary fire for a massive explosion. A skillful, satisfying technique that rewarded timing and aim. The weapon balance...
Yeah, and when was the last time you saw something like that in a different game? I can't think of any, at least not out of my head. If you know something, write it in the comments. And this is how you farm engagement.
Was such that no single weapon ever dominated, each had its ideal situation, and players developed their own personal affinities based on their playstyle. The Bio rifle, for example, was widely mocked by new players, but it became deadly in the hands of veterans who could predict enemy movement and control tight spaces. The Redeemer, an over-the-top one-shot missile with a manual camera in which you could control the huge payload,
also a mini nuke,
was a fan favourite for its sheer power and drama that it caused. But be aware, whilst you fire it and control it, your character was stood still, vulnerable to attack. From the pulse gun to the sniper rifle, every weapon had a distinct feel, sound and use case, contributing to a sandbox of mental gameplay that remained fresh even after countless hours and matches. The sound design was equally iconic. The announcer's voice, I mean, who can forget this guy, shouting double kill, monster kill or godlike. It became etched in...
There's also a female version, which I preferred, for reasons,
to the collective memory of a generation of gamers. The announcer's booming enthusiasm added a sense of progression and dominance during the matches, reinforcing a player's streak with auditory flair. I mean, just listen to how good this sounds.
Double kill, multi-kill, ultra kill. Monster kill. Useless.
The music deserves a special
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? Oh my god. Why don't modern games have those anymore? Oh, right, because they aren't fun. They don't have fun with their own game. Man.
mention here as well. The soundtrack is incredible in Unreal Tournament. It was an amalgamation of techno, industrial and ambient styles that perfectly matched the high-octane pace of the game. Playing on an eerie map? Well, here's an atmospheric, intense piece of music. Playing on an indoors map with action around every corner? Here is a fast-paced, exciting and adrenaline-pumping track to go along with it. Music was dynamically tied to the game's tempo, often subtly rising during confrontations and then easing during the lulls. This attention to detail of sound and gameplay was part of what gave Unreal Tournament its immersive quality. Players didn't just engage in the combat, they felt like they were part of an orchestrated performance of chaos. Tracks like Run, Foregone Destruction and Mechanism 8, and even the intro and menu music itself heightened the intensity of the feeling, let alone the matches themselves. It's a soundtrack that even to this day, I still listen to regularly, and I think it is genuinely one of the best soundtracks ever made for a game. If this game wasn't already brilliant, which it is, then the Mutators took it to another level. Each game, outside of the single-player ladder, allowed players to radically alter the gameplay with simple mutator toggles. There were a ton to choose from as well.
Yeah, but what we saw before, while we was talking, was insta-gip. What does that mean? You shoot the enemy, and if you hit, he dead. Great. It's great.
All of which drastically changed the game, whether that meant slowing down time, turning everyone into walking bombs, an insta-gib mode where the shock rifle became a powerful one-shot gun which turned anyone it hit into giblets, or adding in relics that gave those that carried them performance buffs or the ability to teleport on death rather than needing to respawn. The sheer breadth of mutators and gameplay options ensured that Unreal Tournament never felt stale. All of this bled into the multiplayer experience. Unreal Tournament was built to be modified, extended and shared. Its mod support was a major contributor to its longevity. Players could create their own maps, game modes, skins and even mutators. The modding community exploded in size, and many of the mods, including Tactical Ops, a Counter-Strike style game mode where you buy real-world weapons and equipment before each round, and Chaos UT, a mod that brought some new weapons and a bunch of cool mutators amongst other things, they all became fully fledged experiences in their own right, with Chaos UT even being bundled with the game itself as part of a Game of the Year edition. Epic Games actively supported this community, distributing mod tools with the game and fostering a creator-friendly environment long before that became industry standard. The inclusion of the
Well, it's not industry standard anymore. When was the last time you bought a game or played even was a live service game that's literally multiplayer, and you were able to create your own servers, create your own maps? You can't. We can't anymore. Because if you create your own servers, then you're out of the, out of the loop for spending money on stuff. And they don't want that. They want you to spend money. You do want to spend money, right? Yeah. And also, making your own maps. Which multiplayer game does allow you that? Which big one does? I don't know any. Imagine how cool that would be if you had people make their own maps for Call of Duty that are actually good and not, always the same maps, just reskinned. Isn't that so that some of the maps of Call of Duty are in every Call of Duty? I think I remember something like that, but I'm not sure. So yeah, that's, after a while it gets boring, doesn't it?
Unreal Editor empowered countless players to become creators. For many budding developers, this may well have been their first experience with level design or scripting, and Unreal Tournament served as a gateway to careers in game development. Some of the most enduring community maps and total conversions were created by amateurs who would later go on to work professionally in the industry. This user-generated content kept the game vibrant for years after its initial release, with new content continuously breathing life into the multiplayer scene. The game's user interface, menu design and matchmaking were functional for the time, though by today's standards might seem a bit rudimentary. Yet within that simplicity,
Well, yeah, it's over 20, it's almost 30 years ago. You know? Yes. Yeah. Of course. I mean, the game doesn't look good compared to modern games anymore. It still has style. It has that going. And the gameplay is good. But graphically, yeah, no. It's not looking good anymore. The HUD is good though. The HUD is good.
was a robustness and clarity that served its purpose well. Players could quickly jump into games, host LAN matches or explore the single player ladder, which, while light on narrative, offered structural progression through increasingly difficult opponents and maps, culminating in a big, final duel against the cybernetic boss, Zan Krigor. The atmosphere of these late tournament matches, often set in moody, foreboding arenas with intimidating music, added gravitas to what was an otherwise straightforward ladder. On a cultural level, Unreal Tournament captured the mood and feel of late 90s PC gaming. It was edgy, aggressive and confident, yet not without a sense of humour and flair. For example, the game allowed for taunting automatically. Turn that on and your character would taunt automatically in the kill feed to those that you killed. Some of the lines were absolutely hilarious when timed right.
Yeah, bitch.
The community that formed around
Yeah, imagine that in today's climate. Oh my god. Twitter would go insane. Those fucking retards.
the game was tight-knit but vast, with competitive ladders, LAN tournaments and early esports events beginning to form in its wake. Its success helped cement Epic Games as a major player in the industry and establish the Unreal Engine as a dominant force in game development, a legacy that continues to this day in a huge variety of games and genres. The LAN party era saw Unreal Tournament as a staple of shared game.
Look at this. Oh my god. Yeah. Just you and your buddies. Your buddies bring their computers to your place and you just, you know, play games the entire weekend. Oh my god, that's... Oh, yeah. By the way, I did that too. I did go to my friend carrying my computer. He was carrying my monitor. Oh, that's so dumb. And those CRTs, by the way, are, for the ones who don't know, you young lads, they are heavy. They are heavy. Really heavy.
Experiences. Its network code was very robust for the time, allowing for smooth local matches that turned living rooms and garages into makeshift arenas. These gatherings became rites of passages for young gamers and fostered friendships and rivalries that often endured long after the last frag. The online scene, bolstered by third-party services like GameSpy and forums where clans coordinated matches and trash talk flourished, added yet another layer of competitive spirit to this game. And retrospectively, Unreal Tournament is more than just a good shooter. It's a blueprint. Looking back on it now, it seemingly anticipated many of the trends that would define multiplayer gaming in the decades to come. Modular design, online competition, user-generated content, and the idea that AI could offer a near-human challenge.
Yeah. Can totally see that. Oh, that was...
Though its sequels, UT...
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. That was also fun. Yeah. I mean, Halo directly took stuff from Unreal Tournament.
2003, 2004, Unreal Tournament 3 and the ill-fated 2014 reboot all brought their own innovations. None recaptured the singular lightning-in-a-bottle energy of the original. Each sequel introduced visual and mechanical upgrades, yet many longtime fans, including myself, continued to gravitate back to the tight pacing and perfect balance of the 1999 original. 2.5 decades.
1999? Really? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Almost 30 years, yeah.
Decades later, Unreal Tournament remains a monument to a pivotal moment in gaming history. It combined technical brilliance, creative audacity, and community focus in a way that few games before, or since for that matter, have managed. For those who played it during its heyday, it represents not only a masterclass in arena shooter design, but also a treasured piece of their digital youth. A time when Headshot and Killing Spree weren't just sound bites, they were declarations of skill, style, and supremacy. Thank you very much everyone for watching this video. It's been a ton of fun making this one. I cannot tell you how many hours I spent in this game, so please do let me know in the comments down below if you played this when you were younger. Do you still play it to this day? I would love to know how many people still play this game. As always, if you could like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell on this video for this channel, it would really, really help. I'm loving making all these videos and looking back on these old games. If there are any games you'd love me to take a look at and do a retrospective on, or even do a playthrough on, whatever, let me know in the comments, and I will see you all on the next one.
Congratulations, you are the winner.
Oh my god, this was so good. This was so good.